This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without prejudice. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
I guess we're back. I apologize for the technical difficulties there, but I'm glad y'all stuck with it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's see how this one goes. All right. So maybe it was a good thing, because before we didn't have Sebastian up in here yet. And so it's good to see that it allowed the notifications to come out. So we'll just go with that. I don't know. Get some light in here. Very upset. It started on a bad note. So maybe that's a good thing, because we are here to purge the BS. So make sure you hit the like button. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Jump into the chat, and we are going to get this purge started, okay? I ain't got time to waste. I done lost 30 minutes. I done lost 30 minutes on technical issues. Freaking T-Mobile internet. I don't know. Not recommended, okay? Let me just say that. So our first story today is for all the funky people. Apparently, there has been a recall of 67,000 cases of deodorant. All y'all funkies, this one's for you. Now you have an excuse to be funky now. All right, let me move through it. So apparently Power Stick, which is a very high-class brand of deodorant, available at your local Dollar Tree and or Family Dollar, Dollar General, and Walmart. Apparently they had some manufacturing practice deviation. I'm not even sure what that means for deodorant. Like, it seems like at this point you kind of got the whole making deodorant thing down pat. So I'm not sure what deviations are being done to it, but let's see what we got here. I wonder who's already bought some of these deodorants, and I don't see here. It says the recall is due to GMP deviations. If anybody knows what that is, you're definitely smarter than me. Oh, current good manufacturing practices, right there. I should have. It's not telling us nothing. All it's telling us is that the deodorant got recalled. I'm not really sure why or what is in the deodorant. If they found out there's fiberglass in it that's going to scratch your underarms, I don't know. But if you're using Power Stick, just know that Power Stick is apparently being unplugged for a little bit because of some current good manufacturing practice deviation. Now, I'll dig in deeper to find out what the hell that really means. But yeah, that's what they're saying. So if you're walking around people and they smell a little funky, maybe they're Power Stick users, couldn't get to their supply. I'm not sure. Y'all get any more information on this, you make sure you let me know. I mean, I don't personally use Power Stick. I'm more of a degree guy myself, but in a pinch, you know, Power Stick, you get a joint for like $1. So if it's a pinch, I can see I might grab one. Be careful out there. Nonetheless, let me get to this next thing. Let me see if my transitions are working. Not yet. Okay. You can hear it though. All right, so today's episode, guys, is an interesting one. We've been kind of going back and forth about bad behavior and how things change when people make better decisions, right? So today's episode is dedicated to that. There's going to be a lot of bad decisions. There's going to be a lot of BS. So strap up, prepare yourself, hit the like button, grab a drink if you're one of those, because you're going to need it. for this one. This is going to be totally unhinged, and I think I'm ready. I'm ready. So this is the wrong turn episode, okay? So we already got deodorant. That's a wrong turn. So we already got that. But the next story I wanted to go into, it actually came through the pipe late yesterday. Or was it? Yeah, I think it was late yesterday. And apparently there was a protest in Ohio that was a nonviolent protest, but then it became violent. I think it was a protest to show nonviolence, and then somehow it became violent. This sounds backwards to me, but we're going to figure it out. Hold on a second. Before I get into that, we're going to just bear with me, guys. All right, we're going to try it out. Make sure that you check out freemanservices.org, and that's FREEMANSVCS.org/shop. So you can make sure that you get some of the merch that we have over here, okay? Check it out. Like I said, the traffic is good. You don't have to buy anything. Just go check it out. It won't hurt, I promise. We don't use tracking cookies and all that and start calling you out of nowhere. At least I don't. I don't know if the website people post this. I don't know. But nonetheless. So, yeah, let's just bring this over. Let's get right into it. Now, look, I done told y'all about wilding out in these protests. If you manage to get out of it alive, you're fortunate, because there are mandates that say that the persons who are securing these events, if necessary, can use physical and deadly force. Okay? So, just, I got my text correct. I got the wrong text up. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Stuff got crazy in here a minute ago. Thank y'all for your patience. All right, so we put the main topic text back up. We'll take this topic text down. Sorry, this is from last episode. All right, guys, here we go. So over here, we got the Ohio police responding to fights disrupting anti-violence. Let's see what the Ohio police decided to do. All right, so I got y'all there. Topic text here. And I think we're ready to go. Y'all are ready. Did y'all hit the like button? Did you hit it? Hoping you. See what we got.
Multiple fights broke out at a recent event meant to prevent teen violence in Whitehall. Now there's a call for more resources to be in place to ensure teens can gather safely. Kirsten Lindquist spoke with police about what happened at the event. Kirsten, what did they tell you?
Well, the event is called Thursday Night Thrillers. It's a partnership between Whitehall Police and a nonprofit called Real Solutions, aimed at providing, well, real solutions towards keeping kids off of the streets and giving them an outlet through basketball and other resources. And while much of that event went really smoothly, they say, with nearly 4,000 people, they say that tensions escalated as we went further into the evening. Now, new body camera video shows officers trying to control that crowd at Thursday Night Thrillers, ultimately having to use pepper spray to do some crowd control. About an hour before the event was scheduled to end, police say 3 separate fights broke out outside of the basketball court, so not inside the...
All right, I'm going to be honest. I appreciate them trying to do stuff with the police and the community. I'm going to start there. But for whatever reason, when you get a lot of people into a space, especially if there's something competitive going on like basketball, things can always get squirrely. It is what it is. I got my team, you got your team. I'm yelling at your team, you're yelling at my team. There's a lot of BS that occurs in these. I mean, that's really the only way I can describe it. I don't know any other way to really put this. Like, I don't want to say don't do things with the community or for the community, but at times, you know, it's just like you put enough people in the same spaces, and especially teenagers, just being honest, things can get a little hanky. That's a word that we can use. So let it finish up. But I'm just saying, I mean, I see what they were trying to do, but one, you're doing it at nighttime. You know, people get a little different at night. You called it Thursday Night Thrillers, so that kind of puts a weird zombie thing going into it, and maybe a little negativity. I don't know. People take words and run with them. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm not surprised that this didn't work out. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that.
Event itself. 5 juveniles were arrested for misdemeanor disorderly conduct, but later released to their parents. Police confirmed they were not initially expecting that many people to show up, but they said this was an isolated incident and should not deter people from getting involved in the event.
It's frustrating that we would have bad actors show up and cause some issues at an event like this, especially when, like you said, the whole purpose of this event is exactly the opposite of that. We responded quickly. You know, it was busy for a minute, but it was back under control and pretty orderly very quickly.
Whitehall police are meeting to discuss what additional security measures they'll put in place to ensure that this event continues to run smoothly in the future. But organizers here say that the basketball nights here at John Bishop Park are a lifeline for this community. It really is a grassroots approach to tackling these real issues and keeping these teens occupied during the summer months. We'll have more from those organizers tonight at 11. But for now, live on your side in Whitehall, I'm
Okay. All right. Well, you know, this is a tough one because when I was younger, I remember we used to have like a midnight basketball league, and it was during the summertime. It was like a summer league, and a lot of people would gather there. And it wasn't so much the basketball players. It was like people were coming from other areas, and they would start to beef. I mean, it just really is what it is. Beef in America is almost unavoidable. Somebody's always got a bone to pick. Somebody's always got some vendetta that they need to cash in on. So even though you're trying to do something nice to bring the community together, what you do is you also bring the ops together at these locations as well, and things can get a little crazy. So I don't want them to stop trying. I'm going to start with that. I don't want the officers, the community, whomever's putting this together, I don't want you to stop trying. But you're going to have to obviously be a little more particular about the security at the event, and you know, do your best to not have anybody get harmed in the process. But I hate to say it, but if y'all people, whoever's there that's wilding out, if y'all don't act right, y'all going to lose this too. So if you want to keep this event, you want to keep this going, it's up to y'all. The folks throwing it, police officers that are there, it sounds like nobody got hurt. Just a couple people got arrested for wilding out, which is definitely acceptable in that situation. You know, like I said, nobody got hurt. But it's tough to start these kind of programs in communities because every time these programs start, what happens? Some fight breaks out or somebody gets shot at or something, right? And then you don't have it no more. And then it'll be 20, 30 years before some other organization will try to pick it back up. So folks out in Ohio, if you can hear my voice, if you want to keep your Thursday night basketball nights, y'all need to calm it down. Y'all need to calm it down. I understand it's teenagers, but y'all don't want to lose it. I promise you. You want to have this thing. And if it's solely based on your behavior, then it's really up to y'all. Okay? So don't get mad when the police and them say we can't do it no more because y'all don't know how to act. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Next story. Special shouts, John III in the chat there, Sebastian Polega in the chat there. I see y'all came back in. We had some issues with the stream earlier, so this is a whole new stream that popped up. I'm glad some of y'all got the notifications, but make sure you hit the like button over. And don't forget to check out the Freeman Services merch, celebrating and supporting fair chance employment, hiring practices, and technology navigation for those who are a little out of the loop. So let me continue into the next story because it's about to start getting real dark. Like I said, we start with something a little softer. We started with deodorant, start with a little basketball thing that people are not going to be able to keep together. I give it 90 days. tops. By the end of the summer, it won't go on ever again. That's what it looks like. But nonetheless, not my decision. So this next one, bear with me here. This next one is apparently there's a message from Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden did what's now going to probably be a viral video with Channel 5. And among many things that he was talking about, he decided to give up some recipe ideas. So I'm going to let y'all hear it. And probably going to get flagged for it. But you know what? He said it on TV. I'm just covering the news. If you watched it, then you saw it. If you didn't watch it, then you didn't see it. Nonetheless. This one, Purple Groovy, what's up? I see you in the chat over there. All right, guys. Let's get in trouble. Let's just dive right in. All right? I think you guys are going to be ready for this. But I'm going to give you a hot moment. Because Hunter Biden apparently had. Let's bring it on over here. All right. I'm just going to let y'all see the interview. Now, I'm going to say this. Hunter Biden is an experienced person, and he seems to know some information that he wants the public to know. Or at least he was asked about it, and he answered honestly. So I'll give him that.
Well, the only difference between crack cocaine and cocaine is sodium bicarbonate and water and heat.
This is the
literally.
ex-president's son here.
And those things are pretty much free if you go to like a science store.
This is free. You can go to your neighborhood convenience store and just get. Anyway, I don't want to tell people how to make crack cocaine, but it literally is a mayonnaise jar, cocaine, and baking soda.
How different is the experience?
Did he say, I don't want to tell people how to make it, but just in case, these are the ingredients. This is the last president's son, oldest son. Kind of looks like him, too. He really does look like Joe Biden. You know, and Joe Biden didn't have to smoke crack to be looking like Hunter Biden did. So let's see what he has to say for those taking notes.
Vastly, vastly different. And like for real, I feel really reluctant to kind of have some euphoric discussion. I know you're not asking me to do that, but have some euphoric discussion about crack cocaine.
I think this might be kind of the opposite here.
Okay, no, it's the exact opposite. I'm saying I don't want to have the experience of some euphoric
like, well,
recall.
I'm about to be back on
That's
the street.
how powerful crack cocaine is.
Yeah, he's
Does
right.
crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it combines with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all. You know, all of these actors and, you know, people in the past that talked about they had a problem with cocaine and freebasing. They were smoking crack.
So straw on the stove is the same thing.
Not exactly, but...
This dude is so experienced at this.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Close to it, but it's a little bit different. But anyway, my point about it, your point about it, which I think is true, is that there's a thing about crack that is really insidious.
You know what? I got to say, I appreciate his honesty in this situation. He's very forthcoming. And most crackheads are pretty much forthcoming with their information. It's almost like a badge of honor that you lived through it and you survived it. So when you talk about it, you're kind of like, yeah, man, that's what used to happen. You're almost too honest sometimes. Like, I've heard some things from people who are recovering from something, and they'll tell you some crazy stories about stuff that they did to get drugs. So we're not going to talk about that. I don't think Hunter Biden did all of that.
Yes. And what it is that anytime, I think one of the reasons that they believe that smoking cigarettes is so addictive is because it combines three really important things.
Really?
It's habit forming, there's an oral fixation, and there is a ritual combined with it. And so the idea of hand to mouth is a habit and a fixation that we learn very early, even as children. With the past.
Oh, so you learn as a baby the ability to be a crackhead. Okay, this is prolific, what he's stating to us.
Fire with a spoon.
Why they had to show the black baby first, though? Let's start with that. But anyway.
With your thumb to even to breastfeeding. Okay, so really, so I don't want to get into the psychology of it because I'm no expert, but I do know this is that you combine with that ignition, combustion, and then you combine the ritual. You have your cigarette in the morning. You have a cigarette when you get out of the car. You have your cigarette with your coffee. Crack is that on steroids. It's over and over. There's ritual to it. There's a ritualized part of it. The combination of all of those addictive behaviors together becomes like really powerful. And the drug in and of itself is a more immediate euphoric sensation and connected to it than, in my experience, cocaine alone.
Does it require more frequency to maintain the high?
Yeah.
First of all, I don't like this interview. I'm just going to start with that. I don't like this interview. I don't think he is showing up with the right professionalism for this conversation. I don't know how much professionalism you need to have a conversation with an ex-crackhead. I don't know. But it feels stale. But I'm giving Hunter his props for his honesty, if nothing else.
Does it require more frequency to maintain?
And this guy's acting like he don't know nothing about it. That's the other thing. Like, if you don't know nothing about crack by now, then where have you been living? You know it's not good for you. You pretty much know the effects at this point. You've seen people do it, so you know you're not supposed to do it. So the one thing you probably shouldn't do is have Hunter Biden give out the recipe on a national news network. Just a thought.
Maintain the high?
Yes. Yes. And the capacity to use more than you could otherwise with powder cocaine, just physically to be able to ingest it.
So you're kind of saying that cocaine reaches a certain plateau of euphoria where you can't necessarily get any higher?
In my experience, yes. This is like a PSA. If you want to completely, utterly fuck up your life, I don't think that anything is necessarily, oh, you do it once, you're addicted. But there's about the closest thing that statement could be true would be with crack cocaine.
Incorrect.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Now he's going viral. So like I said, I appreciated Hunter's honesty, but apparently he did much more talking than that. But of course, people were so shocked by this content. This was the first thing that we heard about. And he is definitely, I'll put it this way, I don't think he's a good look for the family. like maybe he cleans up well when he puts a suit on, he looks like a business owner, that kind of thing. But when you let this guy just go, he is not a good look for the family. I'm serious. Let me show you the other piece that they pulled up. Because it's the news has gone kind of crazy over it, because they're not used to hearing the 10 crack commandments on a major network. Actually, he didn't do the 10 commandments. He did the recipe. Okay? So for those that didn't know the recipe, I'm going to say right now, okay? If you're thinking about doing what Hunter Biden did, just understand that is not good. We don't promote that kind of use on this channel. We want people to have a natural high in life, use things that nature gave us, and not these processed goods that we come up with that are destroying people's lives. Okay? So the news, of course, grabbed onto it because you know how they are. But there was a little bit more about it, about the interview that they didn't like. They didn't like the fact that he used profanity, which to me is interesting because we're all adults here. And the president uses profanity. Joe Biden's used profanity before. Kamala Harris has used profanity before. Donald Trump, of course, cusses all the time. We got people that cuss. They live here. We got some people that are cussers. I think we need to get over that part. Because a lot of times you'll miss the message because you're mad about that one word that was said. I can't believe he said damn. And you missed the whole damn thing over that. So let me see what the news had to say. That's the news people. They
I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not a actor. He is a like, I don't know what he is. You. What do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the New York Times to undermine the president at a time in which, by the way, what do people care about the most? Why do you think that the Republicans have an advantage over us? Because they're unified. They will go along with anything. I wasn't asking anybody to go along with anything. I was asking people to go along with this. The most successful administration in my lifetime.
Is he at a rehab right now? Like one of those nice Club Fed type of joints? Because this is a really nice set. Very, a lot of botanicals in the background. But nonetheless, he seems pissed at George Clooney. Is this like the Caucasian version of like the Club Shay Shay Cat Williams video, or is this some other shit? I think this is some other shit. I don't think it'll be as poignant, but let's see what else he's got to say, and then we'll hear the news people review it in such a professional manner.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was Hunter Biden unplugged and unhinged. He repeatedly dropped the F-bomb. He's doing things like F-bombing George Clooney for saying before the election Joe Biden should drop out. Let's welcome podcast host Ben Ferguson. Ben, it's great to see you again. What's your reaction when you heard all of this? If this is how Hunter Biden speaks in public, what is he really like behind closed doors?
Yeah, Hunter Biden's really good at reminding people that he's a crackhead. So I give him, well done. Like, George Clooney, make that movie right now, because this was one of those that terrifies me. What was it like at the White House when Joe Biden wasn't running the country? How much was this guy involved? Because look at the video you have right now. He was in and around the White House an awful lot. If I'm Hunter Biden, number one, I'm really glad my dad didn't use an auto pen on my pardon, because you clearly needed it. Number two, this is completely unhinged, and I want to know, how much influence did he have at the White House? Was he involved in decision making at the White House? Was he and his stepmom, were they making decisions? Were they in a lot of the meetings? We heard he was in a lot of the meetings. But if this is the individual that was the smartest man that Joe Biden knows. Remember, he said that about Hunter Biden.
All right, he was talking about his son, though. What he's going to say, he's the dumbest person I know? Come on, man. You digging on that one. But continue.
He was like, he's a smart man. He's one of the smartest men I've ever met. He advises me a lot. Can you imagine how unhinged it was behind the scenes? Like, this may have been a lot worse than we actually ever thought.
Yeah, but and also, Ben, this could permanently destroy Joe Biden's legacy when you're going to listen to this coming up. Listen to Hunter Biden joining Nancy Pelosi and other arrogant Democrats talking like condescending elitists, saying America only needs Hispanic.
Hunter Biden should not have done that. I didn't want to have no more of this Hunter Biden story in the damn news cycle. He should not have done this interview. This was a bad look for the family. I said it.
Migrant says servants or maids to clean hotel rooms. You're also going to hear Hunter Biden saying he would invade El Salvador to bring back to America violent criminal illegal aliens if he were president. Let's please listen to this.
People are really upset about illegal immigration. You. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your table? Who do you think washes your dishes? I would pick up the phone and call the president of El Salvador and say, you either send them back or I'm going to invade.
Now, guys, remember, he is crackhead. So some of the stuff, you got to always put the buffer on top of it. Okay? You got to put... Remember that, okay? Behind every thought that comes out of his mind is that thought. Okay? All right? So I just want to make sure y'all have a buffer on what he's saying, because he does crackhead. Take everything with a grain of crack.
Crime, what they're doing. He's a dictator.
Okay, your reaction to this, Ben? We only need illegal aliens as maids to clean up hotel rooms and to wash the dishes?
Yeah, that's racism 101. And if you want to know what the Democratic Party truly thinks of illegal immigrants in this country, listen to Hunter Biden. They truly believe that you're less than. This is racism, and it's what I've been saying for a long time. They want to control illegal immigrants like modern-day slavery. They believe that they should have the worst jobs. They don't want them to succeed, and they think that they're only good for one thing, one class, one type of work. They're not wanting them to be great. They're not wanting them to move the right way through the country. They don't want them to get a great education. They want to control them as a voting bloc, and this is racism. And the Democratic Party, look, I say to Republicans all the time.
Y'all see his face in this picture right here? What's the bet? What's the bet that he had a little something going on in his system in this photo? Anyway, well, I'll let him finish. He's got like 20.
Just play their own words. If you want to have inroads with the Hispanic community, explain to the Hispanic community what the Democratic Party truly believes and thinks about you.
All right. And another picture right there. Yo, they got a lot of photos of him looking real interesting. So I'm going to ask you guys in the chat. I see Albon put that he made the cocaina sound like it was some type of sophisticated thing for a moment. But the thing is, should he have even done the interview? Like, what is the point of what Hunter Biden has to say right now? What is the point other than showing himself to be an unhinged, maybe addict? I'm not sure what he's doing or not doing right now. But I do know that that was the dumbest interview to do, especially right now, because I'm tired of hearing about Joe Biden. I'm going to be honest with you. If Joe Biden was tired and didn't sign something, at this point, I don't really care. I don't. Because we got a whole different president at this point. He got his own stuff going on, and we need to be a little bit more focused on that than whether or not Joe Biden was asleep for 3 or 4 years, which we know he slept at least 2 of those years. And he was in meetings sleeping. So we get it. But why it's a major enough story and why somebody was like, you know who we need to go talk to? You know who we need to go interview? Let's go talk to Hunter Biden. Why not just go talk to Joe Biden? I mean, granted, Joe Biden might not have done much better in the interview, but we got to hear the whole recipe for crack. This is not a high-class interview when you get to hear the recipe for crack. And he's cussing about George Clooney. Like, first of all, those are elitist problems. Then you said something about the migrants. Look, let's be honest here. We do know that there's a disproportionate amount of migrants that work in these certain jobs. But we don't need to have people act like that's the only thing that they can do, okay? I'm sure that there have been plenty who have not just been stuck doing hospitality work and janitorial services. And so to think that, 1, that's all they can do, and 2, they're the only people that can do it, that's a total freaking lie. That's some bullshit. So Hunter Biden is full of the bullshit and cocaine, additional, this bullshit with crack on top of it, I guess, is what he's doing. And then he comes on TV, somebody paid him for that, and now the interview's going viral, so now it's going to be Democrats feel like Hunter Biden. Now, look, I claim no political affiliation to any political party. That is the stance of this particular channel. But I will tell you right now, Hunter Biden is not the example of Democrats. They're not all crackheads and, they're not all that. Everybody's not Hunter Biden. So putting him as a mouthpiece to be looked at like a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party, which is what the guy was saying in the thing, the Democratic Party. Hunter Biden don't hold office. He's the president's son. Honestly, normally the son of the real rich person, the real popular person, normally their kids be the ones with the problems. It's actually a pretty common story where, Joe Biden did well in life, and so his kids didn't have to struggle at all, and so they end up being elitists and doing, drugs, and it's a repetitive story. I've heard it a million times. I just don't like the fact that the dude immediately put it on the Democrat Party because of stuff that Hunter Biden is saying. He said, this is how the Democrat Party feels. No, that's how Hunter Biden feels. I'm not saying that there's no Democrats that feel that way, but you can't necessarily glaze the entire population. That's not right. So I do smell some bullshit there, but I'm just going to say at the end of the day, they knew Hunter Biden was going to say something goofy. He's a crackhead. So they got what they wanted. They got their viral moment. Now they get to pick apart the Biden family and this and that. But guess what happens at the end? Absolutely nothing. Hunter Biden gets paid. Joe Biden gets paid for the rest of his life. And what are we supposed to do other than just be laughing at this guy's a crackhead on TV? Still doing better than most. So I'm going to leave that alone. But like I said, that's that bullshit. We're moving to the next story. Now, what do we have next here? What do we have next? Oh, okay. We're going to get a little bit, go serious. Go serious. We'll go serious because this is definitely a trending story. A lot of you guys may not remember we
begin tonight with the sentence.
The Breonna Taylor situation. A lot of people grasped onto it. And basically there was a lot of mishandling of that situation, according to what I saw and what the people saw, right? So one of the officers has been sentenced in that case. It came down the pipe late yesterday that he had gotten sentenced. Now, I didn't know that anybody was still awaiting anything for that situation, but nonetheless. So I'm going to let y'all check this out. We're going to see what the sentence was. We're going to see if it was commensurate with what we think the problem was, or what the situation. And make sure y'all hit the like button if you're just coming in here. Definitely. Go ahead and see.
Begin tonight with the sentencing of former Louisville police officer Brett Hankeson. Hankeson was one of 3 officers who fired into Breonna Taylor's home in March of 2020. But he's the only one of them to be charged and convicted. For violating her civil rights, a judge sentenced Hankeson to nearly 3 years in prison. The Justice Department had recommended he receive just 1 day. CBS's Nicole Valdez was in the courtroom.
Say her name!
Outside the courthouse, supporters of Breonna Taylor gathered awaiting the news. Inside, after more than 4 hours, a federal judge sentenced former Louisville police officer Brett Hankeson to 33 months in prison. Hankeson addressed the court, including members of Taylor's family, saying, "If I knew the facts I know now, I would have never fired my gun."
Well, that was the whole point.
It's about coming out the doorway, you know what I mean?
Prosecutors say Hankeson violated the department's use of force policy when he blindly fired 10 shots into her home without a clear target. Last week, the Department of Justice recommended the judge sentence Hankeson to serve just 1 day in prison. Hankeson is the only officer who's been convicted for firing his weapon during the botched no-knock raid.
I was banging at the door and she said, "Who is it?" And I just started shooting. I want to thank all of the activists here in Louisville, Kentucky, and all across America who kept saying her name for 5 years.
Breonna Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, spoke briefly after the sentencing.
I think the judge did the best she could with what she had to work with.
The sentence comes as the DOJ is shifting away from investigating police misconduct. 2 months ago, the DOJ announced it was beginning the process of dismissing civil rights lawsuits and consent decrees with several police departments, including Louisville. Now, 2 other Louisville police officers that were not ones that responded to the incident are still waiting for their day in court. They're accused of falsifying records that led to the search warrant for Breonna Taylor.
All right, so what did he get, 2 years? 33 months for shooting 10 shots blindly into a home and unaliving someone? I don't know, that seems a little lenient. I don't know. I'm no prosecutor, but that's like 1.5 years, 33 months? No, hold on. Is it? Maybe 4? No, 3 years. Yeah, 2, 3 years, somewhere in there. Yeah, that seems a little. So they're not charging him with the unaliving per se, just the fact that he blindly shot into the resident. Guys, you already know.
I smell bullshit.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. So I don't know. Ben Crump and them seem happy about it, which is weird to me, but I'm going to leave that alone because, a lot of times we get in trouble for our minds when it comes to, police, all that kind of stuff. But Nicole Valdez here, the correspondent, nobody really seems upset by this. And so I'm going to leave it alone because I believe that, if this ain't just a black and white thing. This was a police officer. He didn't know if it was black or white person in there, honestly. So when he did what he did, he could have done that to anybody. It happened to be a young black woman. But, I guess if the family says they're fine with it, I guess we should be fine with it. The family seemed to feel like there was some justice. I think it's a little teeny bit. I think it's a little teeny bit of justice. I think Ben Crump got his money. I think the family got their money in a wrongful death. And the rest of us just need to stop saying her name now because everything's all good according to them. So I'm going to leave that alone and move into the next. bear with me. More time than that for just threatening to do something. You can do more time than that for just threatening to do something. All right, well, we're in the justice segment here, so it's about to get kind of dusty. I say dusty, I mean dirty. All right? One or two of these stories I'm sure you guys have already heard of, but we're just going to go through them. Funny, serious, funny. Okay. Now this one, you know what? I'll start this one. This one's a little bit funnier. Maybe. I don't know. I see that the caption says... A Florida man says... that AI misidentified him as a perpetrator in a crime. So I guess the question on this next one is, should we have AI doing our criminology for us as well? Like basically on some Minority Report type of shit? Because that's what this sounds like. So this is going to fall into our WTF segment, which is, you know, for those that have been here on the show, you know the WTF here at Purge of the BS stands well. That's Florida, okay? So, no disrespect to Floridians, but there is just always something weird going on in Florida. And then when you ask somebody about it, their response is always, well, that's Florida. So that's where WTF came from, for those of y'all, okay? So let us check out this next. All right.
A Florida man says he was wrongfully arrested after local police used AI facial recognition technology.
What is going on?
We're going to go to the car real quick and we're going to talk to...
Jacksonville sent them to get me.
In an Action News Jax investigation, Logan McDonald dug through this case of misidentification and spoke to experts about the potential risk as local police use AI to solve crimes.
God, this is nuts.
Well, I wouldn't know what to tell you, G. It's not an investigation. It's all Jacksonville.
This is 51-year-old Robert Dillon, the Lee County man who was arrested last year after the Jacksonville Beach Police Department said he allegedly tried luring a 12-year-old child in Jacksonville Beach back in November of 2023. The only problem? The police identified the wrong suspect.
He's never even been up there. I haven't been out of Fort Myers in 2 years.
According to a Jacksonville Beach police report, Dillon was linked to this suspect caught on surveillance video in a Jacksonville Beach McDonald's through the use of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office's AI facial recognition technology. Jacksonville Beach PD conferred with JSO, which provided a 93%
I mean, I can see where they could get the idea. I can see the resemblance over here. I don't know if you guys, yeah, y'all can see it. I mean, it's not an exact, but it's very close. I can see why you might mistake one for the other. Just saying.
match between Dillon and the suspect using that technology. The report says police then provided a photo spread of Dillon and other similar-looking individuals to two witnesses. Both identified Dillon as the suspect. The case would later be completely dropped, with the state attorney's office telling Action News Jax the arrest will be wiped from Mr. Dillon's record.
Police are not allowed under the Constitution to arrest somebody without probable cause. And this technology expressly cannot provide probable cause. It is so glitchy. It's so unreliable.
Nate Fried-Wessler is the deputy director for the American Civil Liberty Union's Speech, Privacy, and...
Guy looks serious. This gentleman looks really serious about his job. This is Nathan Fried-Wessler. He is against the usages of AI technology in facial recognition, which is interesting because they use facial recognition at airports and all types of stuff. So I guess the AI recognition could be similar to like a breathalyzer or something, where it doesn't necessarily prove anything, but it helps if you have some other testimony. And in this case, the guy was put in a lineup, picture lineup, and somebody still identified him that way as the person. So he definitely looked a lot like the guy. It wasn't exact, but the other guy looked like he had just got punched in the face anyway, so that's enough to make you not look exactly the same.
Technology project. He was part of the legal team that helped sue on behalf of Robert Williams, a Detroit man wrongfully arrested thanks to facial recognition similar to the technology used to identify Dillon. The Detroit Police Department settled that case for $300,000 in damages. and implemented safeguards when using AI facial recognition in their investigations. Fried Wessler says wrongful arrests using AI facial recognition are more common than many think, especially among people of color.
It's partly because of
AI can't tell the difference between black people. That is literally what they're about to say. They are literally about to say AI thinks that all black people look alike. I feel it. I feel it. I feel he's about to say this. Hold on.
photo quality problems in low light situations when the cameras are trying to identify darker skinned people. In fact, in almost all of the wrongful arrest cases around the country that we know of, it's been black people who have been incorrectly, wrongfully picked up by police.
Action News Jax reached out to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office about it.
So that would mean that this technology is definitely not reliable at all. Even the technology is becoming a bigot. Talking about they all look alike. That's literally what the AI feels, is that they all kind of look alike. So that guy and that guy, the same guy. Wow. I keep warning y'all about this AI shit. Y'all are not listening.
Its use of the technology following Dylan's wrongful arrest, and we asked for examples of the successes using facial recognition technology. They responded stating, quote, "The results of such queries are not positive identifications and should only be utilized as investigative leads." However, Fried Wessler says he doesn't believe that was the case in this Jacksonville Beach police investigation, adding that photo spreads based off a facial recognition match aren't sufficient evidence to make an arrest.
Because when this technology gets it wrong, it's going to get it wrong with a face of somebody who looks similar to the suspect. And so it's no surprise that when police juice a lineup procedure with a doppelganger, with a lookalike, a witness is going to choose an innocent person.
Now the Jacksonville Beach Police Department tells Action News Jax the investigation is still open after Dylan was cleared of any wrongdoing, adding in part, quote, "We will not be commenting on this matter beyond stating that all warrant requests are submitted to the state attorney's office. It is solely their decision whether or not to move forward with issuing a warrant."
Wow.
We reached out to the state attorney's office as well. A spokesperson only confirmed Dylan was cleared of any wrongdoing. Now, Dylan's lawyer tells Action News Jax he's seeking compensation, though he and Dylan declined interview requests. Meanwhile, Courtney Barkley, an AI policy expert at Jacksonville University, says law enforcement agencies across the nation will continue to use AI and facial recognition. She outlined the need to always second guess.
Every industry is just now starting to scratch the surface of the potential of AI, how it can impact our society. Law enforcement is no exception. And so, again, we just want to be cognizant of the risks.
Jacksonville.
All right. I'm going to tell y'all right now, we have discussed this, okay? We have discussed this here on the Purge of the BS a number of times regarding the alpha indigos and the fact that they're nowhere near perfect and, in my opinion, operate like a very small child who's socially awkward, not really able to speak correctly. You do get some bright spots, but in a general sense, you cannot trust the alpha indigos with 100% accuracy. It just is not possible. Why? Because they were built by flawed people called humans. So I think that they make it's cool to use it as a support, but to make it the reason that you get a search warrant or something like that just by the AI facial recognition, I don't think that that would be fair. But you got to understand, if people really look alike, just like they did with that guy, they put him in a lineup, the person still thought it was him because he did look like the guy. So at least with the first story, there was enough similarity that I could be like, yeah, that's a mistake that could be made. But with the fact that all of the, or 90% of the misidentifications are black people, that's something that we need to work on. They talk about low light. No, it's not low light. They have black faces, and they don't all look the same. And if you don't get a good enough shot, you really can't tell certain people apart, especially not at night. I'm going to be honest with you. But I think that's actually a sign of the times. Even the AI became a bigot as soon as you started letting it look at faces. It's like, oh, well, they all look alike. That's cool. No problem. So, I don't know, guys. I use my alpha indigos in the positive way. I use the Autobots, okay? The Decepticons are stuff like this. Because you could have somebody's face incorrectly for an M1 charge, and the police show up kicking in the door and end up taking somebody's life. That's all by a mistake from the AI that they trust. So, saying, watch that shit. But, you know, that's Florida. And apparently it's a problem in Jacksonville. I don't know. So you guys be careful out there. See what we got. Tags. All right, make sure y'all hit the like button if you're feeling so inclined. Make sure you send a super chat, or you can support Freeman Services by going to $FREEMANSBCS at Cash App, and you can send things that way. The good thing about that is YouTube does not take a cut of Cash App stuff. They do take a cut of everything else. Not the merch, not the Cash App, but super chats, memberships, all that good stuff. You know, you want to pay YouTube, you go that route. You want to make sure that you're supporting your content creator, go the other route. And I would say support your content creator. Watch other channels, not just mine, but watch other channels. You got people that go live and they're giving you all this good game and good information. Make sure that you are supporting those channels as well, because right now the mainstream media wants to silence voices like ours because we're not bought and paid for. So we can say whatever we want about Hunter Biden because no Democrat Party has paid us to say different. We can say whatever we want about Donald Trump because no Republican Party has paid us to say different. So it allows us to be objective, and the media does not like full-blown objectivity in a general sense. We got to beat the algorithm by making sure that we support the content that is 100% real. So our next story here, what we got? Okay, well, we got that. Okay, so apparently a gentleman named Hellcat Mike was recently sentenced or arrested, or let's see if he was sentenced. Yeah, he was sentenced to a decade in prison for posting social media videos of him breaking the law in his Hellcat. Now, we have definitely covered this one before about not posting evidence of your crimes, but apparently Hellcat Mike was not tuned in to Purge of the BS that continued to do the bullshit, and the bullshit has caught up with him. Oh, no thing. Hellcat Mike. All right, cool. Got the top on. Let's hit it.
Up first this evening, Hellcats flying along highways at 100+ miles per hour. Drivers leading police on dangerous chases, all while documenting it on social media.
And now one man who's behind the wheel is going to prison. Hellcat Mike, as he was called, was sentenced to 10 years after crashing during a high-speed chase. Orco Man is live, the Fort Bend County DA's office in Richmond. Orco experts telling you this kind of stunt is part of a new trend criminals are using to promote their businesses.
Well, whoa. This is, I'm gonna let him finish. He said there's a new stunt to promote business. I'm not sure what that means. Let's find out what that means.
Len, the Fort Bend County District Attorney's Office tells me that the chase on I-10 last February was a dangerous game of cat and mouse. They say that Hellcat Mike was driving like a player in a video game. Dramatic new dashcam video shows a Dodge Hellcat speeding on I-10 in Katy and weaving through busy traffic right before swiping a landscaping truck and crashing.
He just hit a car, spin out. He's still westbound I-10.
A DPS trooper finally catching up to the driver, identified as 39-year-old Michael Wilson, also known as Hellcat Mike.
Incredibly lucky nobody was hurt.
Did they say he's 39? 39 years old? I think I just heard that. Let's see here.
PS trooper finally catching up to the driver, identified as 39-year-old Michael Wilson, also known as Hellcat Mike.
Bro is too old for that shit. Oh my goodness. You 40 years old doing this? All right.
It's incredibly lucky nobody was hurt.
Wesley Wittig with the Fort Bend County District Attorney's Office tells me Wilson was going more than 100 miles an hour.
He's playing Grand Theft Auto in real life. But that's incredibly dangerous to our community.
Wittig adds this isn't the first time Wilson has done this. Investigators finding videos of Hellcats racing on Wilson's now deactivated Instagram account. POV video showing speeding on highways, even being chased by police.
This was his thing.
Stupid.
That I am going to find and sell, Dodge Hellcat chargers, and that's how I'm going to do it, is by showing myself outrunning the cops.
Listen to Wilson in the dash cam video after he gets arrested.
This is bad for business. I work on Hellcats for a living.
Car expert Paul Fix III speaking with me today. Is this part of a trend that you've been seeing, and what exactly is that trend?
It's definitely a piece of this new trend among the car community, well, the criminals in the car community that are trying to find ways to promote their illegal businesses by doing illegal street racing.
And that's not.
Hold on, which business was illegal? Is it that he's selling strip parts of Hellcats, or is he doing modifications that are illegal? That might be it. Maybe he's doing illegal modifications and he's showing off the illegal mods in the video. It's not the best business model there, Hellcat Mike, and you're definitely going to have some trouble getting things to keep moving while you're in jail for 10 years. And I will say that's a grown-ass man doing that, so any consequence that comes as a part of it, sorry, bro, you're going to have to serve that 10. Which is funny because the guy that shot 10 shots into Breonna Taylor's place got 33 months and unalived the person. This guy was just being an asshole and posting it on the internet. He did hit something. He clipped the car in that one video. So he definitely caused some destruction. But he didn't shoot. You know what? I'm going to stop right there. Stop right. I'm going to let this finish.
Self outrunning the cops.
Listen to Wilson in the dash cam video after he gets arrested.
This is bad for business. I work on Hellcats for a living.
Car expert Paul Fix III speaking with me today. Is this part of a trend that you've been seeing, and what exactly is that trend?
It's definitely a piece of this new trend among the car community, well, the criminals in the car community that are trying to find ways to promote their illegal businesses by doing illegal street racing.
And that's not all. Last year, Wilson was at the center of a year-long law enforcement sting in San Antonio, accused of running a chop shop targeting high-performance vehicles. He's still on the hook for those charges. And now,
there you go. He was running the chop shop too. So yeah, bruh, if you're running an illegal business, I would say that promoting it on Instagram is probably not the best idea, but I'll be honest, there's not a lot of marketing opportunities that are safe when you're running an illegal business. Word of mouth is dangerous. So trying to advertise on the internet, I mean, I guess to him it was the only way to get it done. But Hellcat Mike is getting ready to go spend 10 years in jail being an idiot, because that's stupid. Not saying that, you know, if he was really good with cars that he can't start a legal business, you know, supercharged cars and all, that's fine. But you started putting on the internet yourself breaking the law. Once you do that, you end up on the radar, and eventually when they catch you, they go find your Instagram account and they start running up the charges from all of the videos. That's how he got 10 years. Because, I mean, unless you really harm somebody in this pursuit, you know, 10 years seems a little steep. I'm just being honest. 10 years seems a little steep. But I believe that they got something else on him. And because he was probably on probation or something for that, or, you know, whatever pretrial situation they got with him, they're probably going to throw the book at him. Or they did throw the book at him. He got 10 years for speeding too much. That's what he got 10 years for. Well, no, he got 10 years for being an idiot and posting it on the internet. That's what he got the 10 years from. So I'm just going to be honest. Like I said, I believe that, yes, he should have had a penalty, but I'm a little surprised that his penalty was 10 years of time versus the person that shot 10 shots blindly into an apartment and unalived somebody. They barely get 2.5 years. Interesting. You know, 2.5 years, you break that down, we're talking a year and a half, basically, or that versus driving. And I don't know. Like I said, he was stupid, the driver, but I'm just saying in comparison, it seems like that might be a little off. That's just me, though, you know, because I'm about to bullshit, and that sounds like some bullshit. Not saying that he was right, Hellcat Mike, but I'm just saying in comparison, obviously getting a much harsher sentence than that officer Taylor case. That was very polarizing. Hellcat Mike is not polarized. So nobody cares about Hellcat Mike, so that's why he's going to jail for 10 years. And nobody's protesting the guy being given 33 months for the Breonna Taylor situation. That is I hope they don't come out there talking about free Hellcat Mike and start getting shirts and shit. Because we got the wrong people that we promote as our heroes. We start that shit. I'm just let Hellcat Mike go do his thing. Done with Hellcat. So now we are all the way in. We got our spikes all the way out now. Here. All right, this one, I'm going to just bring it to you, and I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button if you have not done so already. I am going to have to. I got to bring you. This is like when you're trying to do something to be helpful and it goes horribly wrong. All right. So apparently a gentleman named Keith McAllister, may he rest in peace, was taken away from us due to a mishap trying to help his wife out of an MRI machine. We'll let y'all see it. But I'm trying to figure out whose failure was this. We're going to discuss that in just I don't know. Put the topic up so they know. Y'all got it. Okay, y'all ready for it? You ready for it? All right, let's do it. I don't know if y'all ready for it. I don't think y'all ready for it. I don't think y'all even ready.
Wrapped him around and slam pulled him into the machine. He died. He lost. He went limp in my arms. I haven't been able to sleep. I'm barely eating. I just can't believe. I still trying to wrap my head around the whole thing. He waved goodbye to me, and then his whole body went limp.
Adrian said after she'd had an MRI on.
Hold up, he waved goodbye and then went like, I'm not, nope. Still trying to get in. I'm still trying to get into the pearly gates. And
then his whole body went limp.
Adrian said after she'd had an MRI on her knee Wednesday, she needed help getting up. She said she asked the technician to get her husband.
And I yelled out Keith's name, Keith, come help me up, come help me up.
She said the technician went to get her husband and brought him into the room, despite the fact that Keith was wearing a 20-pound chain around his neck with a large lock that he used for weight training.
There's so much about this entire situation. Let me let it finish. Let me let the clip finish, then we're going to discuss it. Everybody
was wearing a 20-pound chain around his neck with a large lock that he used for weight training.
They were standing there laughing and joking before he even came to the table.
When Keith got closer to Adrian to help her up, she said the unthinkable happened.
At that instant, the machine switched him around, pulled him in, and he hit the MRI.
Adrian says she and the tech tried to pry Keith off the machine, but it was impossible.
I'm saying, could you turn up the machine, call 911, do something, turn this damn thing off? It's not the first time that guy has seen that chain. They had a conversation about it before. Oh, that's a big chain.
Adrian said Keith, a hardworking man who always gave his all, suffered several heart attacks following the incident. He was 61 years old.
And I loved him so much. Him around.
All right. Okay, guys. It's sad that Keith lost his life. Start with that. I believe that the technician who was aware that this man had a 20-pound chain on with a big old master lock or something on it that apparently he used for weight training, which is weird because why are you at the office with your mother with your weight training chain around? Are you weight training? Well, not your mother, your wife, with your weight training thing around. It seems like there was a lack of common sense involved here. And I think it's sad that the man passed away, but the technician should have been like, hey, man, don't go back there with that big ass chain on. Like, I don't know. Is there anything more? Yeah, he probably doesn't work there no more. Al Bond in the chat with the zinger. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't work there anymore, but why can't you just turn off the MRI machine? Isn't there a plug? You just unplug it? Like, I don't know. It sounds like some Final Destination shit. When I saw the story, I thought it was a troll. I really thought it was a whole different story. And the guy didn't look 61. He looked much younger, but this is a major story right now because they're talking about the technicians at the MRI place. So it's sad, but it's a reminder to be careful in the world. In general, there is stuff out there that I call the X factor. Shit just be happening. And 1 second things are great, and the next second it's no longer great, and people have lost their lives. And that's what this situation. But I believe that the technician who worked there should have been a little bit more on his game about it, especially if he's seen the chain before and he knows, there's a sign in the MRI room about magnetic fields and things like that and how strong they are. Everybody knows this. This is like common knowledge. I've seen a hell of a lot of videos with people like throwing stuff in the air in the MRI room and it goes right through the MRI machine and slams into the back. Like, seriously. And everybody keeps talking about this 20-pound chain. It's almost like they want to make a joke, but they don't. Kind of like, I'm going to get you, sucker, when they say that the people OG, they overgolded. It was a joke, but it wasn't. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of what it sounds like. It does suck, but we're showing you some footage of, oh, wow. Oh, somebody did a whole AI thing. That's what they did. No, we're not going to do. Probably too brutal. But y'all get the point. There are, like Al Bond said in the chat, there's a million ways to be taken up out of here. You got to be careful. You got to be more careful. That's all I can say. You got to be more careful because this was avoidable. He could have just left the chain in the car and this wouldn't have happened. The technician could have said, hey, don't go back there with that big ass chain on. That wouldn't have happened. The technician could have done his job and got the woman out the MRI machine himself or herself. I'm not sure if the technician. Instead of sending the accompanying person into a room that has things that only a skilled worker should be dealing with. This lady's in the damn MRI machine. Keith is getting snatched back by the MRI machine. The lady's outside the MRI machine. She don't know how to turn it off. The technician's probably standing there frozen, not doing nothing. I hope that tech never does work with any people ever again. Because if you don't know anything, most places that have something dangerous like that, they have like an emergency cutoff. The button on the wall somewhere, something that they pull that just shuts everything down. Doesn't sound like they got to that. And you would think that the person who's trained to deal with that machine would know everything about what to do if something goes wrong. And it seems like they didn't. So there's a mixture of responsibility here. But at the end of the day, this guy Keith died from some bullshit. Just some poor decision making, wrong turns, and here we are. And like I said, I feel sad for his wife, family. They have to go through that. But here in the world, the earth that we live on, you got to be more careful, okay? You got to be more careful. Like, who doesn't know that the magnet on the MRI does that? Anyway, nonetheless, so rest in peace to Keith. He had a magnetic personality. Might have been too soon. That might have been too soon. Okay. Yeah, even if it wasn't. Okay. So, I hope I didn't lose any subscribers over it. It was just a joke, guys, okay? I take shit too serious. And I guess I had to set it up with a joke because our last segment is a little more serious. And it is because it is now going viral. A dude got pulled over by the police for, looks like a minor traffic charge. Apparently it was, all right, so a guy got pulled over for a minor traffic stop, turned into what's now becoming a viral video. So if you guys are sensitive, next one is a pretty sensitive topic. And there are some images that could be disturbing to a few folks. Please keep that in mind. It's up for you here. I'm giving you guys a second to disperse or change your mentality before we get to this. So this gentleman, I'll just let y'all see it. Well, Sebastian, it's never too early for a great joke. Firmly believe. I think that was well timed because this next one is way more serious, so we can't joke as much. Basically, the guy on the left here, not sure of his name, got pulled over, and let y'all see the video.
Social media is not.
And this is the sheriff talking at the same time. I'll show you more than one video of this, but I'm just going to let you hear what the sheriff had to say while you're watching the video on the side, and then we'll go into a little more deeper talk after that. Make sure you hit the like button.
Social media is not reality. One video clip devoid of context can be very misleading. Given that McNeil never brought this incident to JSO's attention, but rather pushed the cell phone camera footage that he had in his possession since March 5th out on social media, one can only assume, and I'm saying I assume, that he intended to inflame the public. The administrative process is still ongoing, and as such, I will neither defend nor commend Officer Bauer's response to resistance until all the facts are known and the investigation is completed. However, as the leader of this agency, I will not remain silent while important facts and information are buried to advance an anti-police agenda. The truth is, William McNeil Jr. was non-compliant with JSO officers within 21 seconds after he was stopped for multiple civil infractions. His non-compliance quickly rose to the level of criminal resistance to a police officer. McNeil was arrested and pled guilty to resisting a police officer without violence. Force absolutely looks ugly. And because all force is ugly, whether or not the officer involved acted within outside JSO policy, that's still what we're investigating. Social media.
All right, let's dig in a little bit. From what I can see, this guy's pulled over. He's got a camera, got an officer behind him that breaks the window, and they remove him from the car. Let's see the police officer's body.
Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I know like this.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's a thing, but I get what he's going to say. Normally, I'm just going to be like this. Honestly, guys, do not pop the door open when you get pulled over. That's not something that you should do. Especially if, forget what color you are. Sometimes the police think that that's an aggressive move when you open the door because they think the next thing after opening a door is to step out. So, in my opinion, not saying this guy was wrong for making this movement because of his situation with the window not working, I probably would have recommended rolling the rear window down and talking through that before opening the door. That's just my recommendation, but I understand why you would do that because if the window's up and you know, officer walks up, they're going to tap on the window, expecting you to roll the window down. And if you pop the door open too quick, they might think you have a gun or something, and they start shooting. So stay in the car, roll the rear window down, express what the problem is. Hey, officer, I need to open the front door because the window don't work. I just want to let you know. I'm just not saying the guy's wrong. I'm just saying these things are very sketchy. And when these officers get out of the car, a lot of times they're nervous. And if you make a move the wrong way, they're trying to get home to their families and they think you're a threat. You already know how that story ends. So I'm just saying, don't do that. Don't pop the door open on the officers. That's immediate. They like, what? Why is he popping the door open? So just be careful there. Anyway, let's.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights, and it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
All right, hold on now. All right, this is a pullover for not having your lights on during inclement weather, is what he said. It doesn't appear to be raining at this time. Maybe it did or is going to, or maybe it's even drizzling, but it's not pouring rain at this point. This guy's got his door open. I don't see any water. I don't hear the sound of rain. So I'm a little inclined to kind of say that when it comes to that inclement weather thing,
I smell bullshit.
Smell some bullshit on that. So let's see what we got going here, but it's already off to a bad start. It's already off to a bad start. Already off to a bad start. Grush Diva, you got it right. It's questionable already as to what we really got going on. So let's go.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
7735. I'm a proper driver. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle.
All right, so here's an issue. He's going to have a problem with it because he did close the door on the officer, but he did request the supervisor person first. So I've heard that they're supposed to get your supervisor when requested. I've seen plenty of videos where that doesn't happen, but I've also seen plenty of videos happen where it does. So I'm not even sure. I don't know if it changes depending on what jurisdiction you're in, but some places, it's the second you say that, it's kind of like if you're at the police station to say, I need to talk to my lawyer. Everything shuts down. They wait until they get that person that you've requested, and then they continue their interrogation and investigation. That's what I've seen. So I'm sure this cop is right now pissed off. He done stopped this guy. This guy is not bowing to his authority because, one, it sounds like a bullshit pullover. If it's not raining, yeah, it's a little cloudy, but it doesn't appear to be raining. And then he said something about his seatbelt or whatever. The seatbelt is a secondary charge. You can't pull somebody over. In most states, they don't pull you over for the seatbelt. They pull you over for something else, and then they add the seatbelt on. But that depends on the state. So I'll be honest with you. Different states and different stuff. But nonetheless, the primary reason that he mentioned was the lights being off in inclement weather. That was the first thing he said. Then he mentioned the seatbelt, probably because the guy was leaning out of the car and didn't appear to have a seatbelt on. So you can say, oh, and you don't have your seatbelt on top of that. So really the pullover was initially for not having your lights on when it's cloudy outside. Okay, all right. Not saying the guy is right that's in the car. I'm saying this is a questionable stop, and we need to do everything that we can to make sure that everybody makes it out alive and unharmed, because there doesn't seem to be a credible threat of violence coming from this person in the car. They don't seem to be a threat to the officer, like in a way where they're wielding a gun or they have a weapon or something. At least not at this point. Say, let's continue.
I was saying, for 9-4, the driver just slammed the door and locked it. Yep. If anybody responding, come in from Commonwealth, block the vehicle, please. I'm coming west on Commonwealth. I'll be there in a second. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. My camera's on too. I've already told you. Okay. Okay. Right now you're under arrest for resisting. You understand? You're under arrest for resisting. The longer you take us on, the worse it's going to be. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. Okay.
All right, now his boys done got there. Here comes the escalation. Because, you know, normally when it's just one officer, they're normally pretty chill. But that's why he's like, all right, fine. You're under arrest for resisting. So he's resisting being pulled over for having his lights off during the day in what does not appear to be weather. And I will just say, just a note.
Okay.
This cop car that rolls up here, they don't have any wipers on or anything, or forward-facing lights either. So it's obviously not that bad out there as far as this so-called inclement weather. But okay, all right, let's see where this goes. I don't see no wipers on that cop car. What's going on right now?
Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window.
Well, we're conducting a traffic stop right now. You need to.
No, he's under arrest.
Hey, I'll out the car. I'm going to push it up.
Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
Can you unlock the door and step out? I will. Can you step out? You're being done. There's a traffic stop being conducted. You're required to comply.
Vehicle's locked in.
Yes.
He's locked it up. He's putting the window down.
Correct.
I tried to talk to
Huh? Okay. So what did he ask for when he I guess, talked to you?
When he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door, threw my window don't work, right? And then I said, so what I did wrong?
Yeah.
He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, there's multiple people headlights off.
Okay, that's still
and then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Oh, wait a second. What state is this? Are you required to drive with your lights on during the day? That's what he just said. You're required to have your headlights on. I don't know how I feel about this. Maybe I'm seeing the lighting different, but the officer that rolled up didn't have front headlights on when he rolled up. The car that's parked in the back didn't have headlights on, and that one was definitely on the whole time. So I'm definitely feeling it. I'm definitely smelling it. It is what it is.
I smell bullshit.
Y'all already know. Got about 2 more minutes left of this, but I see where it's already escalated. Once they start pinning your car in and all this kind of stuff, like, he didn't necessarily make any inference that he was going anywhere. And if he was going to do so, he would have done that initially once he closed the door. That's what I would have thought. Not sit there waiting for a so-called supervisor to arrive, who was probably never called in this. We'll see. We'll see.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Hey, can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands.
Here.
1033 at 16.1 hours.
Here. What is your reason, sir? What is your reason? Step out now. All right. Get on the ground. No, don't get on the ground.
Put your hands behind your back! Hands behind your back!
What's wrong with you?
What you mean? I was putting my hands behind my back. I was on.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking.
Fucking shit, bro. I was doing, bro. What's going on, man?
You're under arrest. That's what's going on.
No.
Yes, bro. Yes.
I have a lawful reason, bro.
All right, hold on. I gotta back this up just a smiggity. Did he ram the shit out of the front of his car? Or was he just driving without a bumper in the first place? I don't know, but it looks like he rammed the shit out the front of his car. Anyway, I saw that part. Let's take it back. This portion here. So he's talking to the officer on the other side through the window that is down. And then these officers on this side decide that it's time to break the window. I think, honestly, the guy that was on the passenger side probably could have talked the whole thing out. And he probably could have got the supervisor there, at least at that point. You know, at this point, y'all are scary. Like, and I mean scary, like there's a lot of police. They ram in your car and they're pinning you in, and they're doing all of this because you didn't have your freaking lights on during the daytime on a cloudy day. And what's funny is this body cam was not released until recently as a response to the gentleman releasing the camera footage that was on his phone. That's what you saw playing on the right. So why, if they thought that everything was great, did this body camera footage not get released earlier? I don't know. Just saying. There's a lot of people on opposite sides of this saying, hey, you should just comply. And I'll give you that. There is some lack of compliance here. But there's a certain level of escalation that's been placed on this that, in my opinion, is scary as shit. If you got 2 or 3 police cars pinning you in, you know, you got these guys jumping up, they busting windows out. There's a lot going on. He is lucky that he made it out alive, in my opinion. As soon as the guy opens the door or gets through the window, he punches the guy in the face. Like dead in the face. Now, this guy's not swinging at them or nothing at this point. Punching the guy in the face. What is your response when someone normally punches you in the face? To either defend yourself or protect yourself, right? So if you punch a person in the face and their next move is not to attack you, that's where that escalation has to stop. It doesn't continue after that. But he not only did it in the car, he takes him out of the car, punched him in the face. I'll let y'all see it.
Just locked it up. Put the window down. Correct. I tried to talk to Okay. So what did he ask for when he I guess,
when he pulled me over?
So this is the split screen. The one on the right, that's the guy's phone recording. See the officers behind him on the other side of the car talking to this guy right here. Now, the windows are kind of tinted, but you can see that there's a person in there. So if you break the window, there's a good chance that you're going to end up getting glass on a person or injuring them as soon as you breach that vehicle. But let's continue.
Open my door because my window don't work, right? And then I said, so what I did wrong?
Yeah.
He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, there's multiple people headlights.
Okay, that's so.
And then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Hey.
Can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands.
Here.
1033 at 16.1 hours.
Here.
What is your reason, sir? What is your reason? Step out now. All right. No.
Then he punches him in the face again. I don't know if you guys can see. Secondary facial punch there. You know, we'll let this finish out and I'm
Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. What's wrong with you?
What you mean? I was putting my hands behind my back. I was on.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking.
What's going on, man?
You're under arrest. That's what's going on.
No.
Yes, bro. Yes.
That's a lawful reason, bro. You gonna throw my phone like that, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off of you, bro.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to have a regular conversation with y'all, bro.
That's not how it works.
When they asked me to step out of the vehicle, you should have done that shit. So your partner didn't even act.
Marijuana in his right pocket.
Yes, it is. So why close the door if you...
Up marijuana in his right pocket. So all of this was to get that little dime bag that he has in his right pocket.
See him pull up. Because, man, what you mean? He talking about arresting me and stuff, but I didn't do nothing.
No resisting, idiot.
I didn't do nothing wrong.
I don't know.
Can you back me up to the cop and clean up? Sit up. You was busting that shit, bro.
You start rescue. It's 67. Approximately 30-year-old Bravo Mike. Last race. I did. Thank you. I know. You should put some goes on though. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What you need? You need tissue?
All right, we get it. Bastine has the question. Oh, let's see what the X comments say. You know, the X comments are going to, should have killed him or something like that. Pretty much. Yeah, it was Jacksonville. So it's another WTF one, guys. Well, that's Florida. Like, even when the cop first gets out the car, there's no wipers on in his car. See, I was under the impression, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I was under the impression that wipers on, lights on. So anytime you got to put your wipers on is when you got to turn the lights on. So sometimes, or if it's daytime, if you got to put the wipers on, you got to put the lights on, right? So if it's daytime and it's not really raining and you don't have your wipers on, from what I understand, you don't necessarily have to have forward-facing headlights on, at least not in Florida, because they got older cars that don't have DRLs, which is daytime running lights. That's what DRLs are. So, can y'all please help me with that? Because I'm trying to, the officer said in the other video that he did not believe that that was the law. He believed that you had to have your lights on during the day. Basically, you got to have your headlights on at all times, is what the officer said. Whether it's raining, whether it's daytime, whatever, got to have your headlights on. And I would have to say that sounds like some bullshit to me. Can anybody refute that speech was bullshit, or that inference was bullshit? And that's where things get greasy. Because if the officer says something like that and that's not true, and then it was like right after he said that bullshit, then he tells the other officers, you know what, break the window. Let's just take it there at this point. Never got the supervisor up there. I never remembered him calling one. Now, I've heard this whole thing that some people get a supervisor, some people don't. I believe in this situation, a supervisor might have been helpful, but this gentleman was not running from the police. He was being pulled over for not having his headlights on during the day when it's cloudy out. When it's raining, because it does rain a lot in Florida. So you wait a couple of minutes, he would have been able to say that. But I see a couple of droplets on the vehicle, but that doesn't mean it's actively raining. Like I said, in Florida, it's always off and on rain. So why did he pull him over? I feel like he just didn't have nothing else to do and decided to target somebody who was just driving with their lights off during the day. I don't believe it was racially motivated specifically, because a lot of people will go that route. But officers, a lot of them, do not like when you act like a damn grown-up when they pull you over, when you question them when they pull you over. Like, this was a valid question. Why are you pulling me over? You know, he obviously wasn't speeding because the guy would have said you were speeding. So he's like, what, it's daytime? You got, you know, whatever. Now, I don't know about the whole seatbelt thing, because the seatbelt thing, he didn't seem to have it on the first shot, but when they took him out the car, he definitely had the seatbelt on when they opened the door. So, and even with that, it's like, oh, hold on, Sebastian, that's correct. You got to drive with lights on during the day? That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Well, that's, hey, anybody in Florida, y'all better watch out, because the law that I grew up on was wipers on, lights on. So if you got to turn the wipers on, you got to have your lights on. If your wipers are on, your lights are off, that's where you're breaking the law. That was what I was taught coming up. Florida law to have your lights on at all times, even if you don't have DRLs. So you just got to waste your freaking headlight bulbs, because that's what Florida wants. Even in the daytime. That is crazy, bro. That's crazy. Well, we learned something new today. So technically, at least in Florida, the traffic stop was valid. Now, I don't know where this guy was from, but I would venture to say maybe he's never heard that in Florida, because I honestly thought it was all the same everywhere. Kind of like right turns on red. But wow. Okay. So with that being said, does that change the justification for the force used in the stop? In my opinion, no. I still think it was a little forceful, but at least it was a legal traffic stop. At least we don't have to worry about Ben Crump and them trying to cash in off the illegal traffic stop piece. Secondarily, the gentleman is obviously still alive. So that's good. He made it out of it alive. But yeah, that's a gray area there, because most people would feel what I was thinking, which is you don't have to have your lights on if your wipers aren't on and it's daytime. But apparently you have to have running lights on at all times in Florida. All right, so let's see what the comments said here. Well, it's back and forth. It's back and forth. You know, it all depends on how your interaction with people and police really is. I'm gonna be honest. Some people don't see other people as humans. So when they see them get punched in the face, beat up, they don't see anything in that other than, you know, the police arresting a criminal. But we don't know what this guy, I mean, yeah, he had a bag of weed in his pocket, but so what? I don't even think it's fully illegal. It's decriminalized to a degree in Jacksonville. Like, you have to have a certain amount for it to even really be a problem, right? So I get that the officers were probably a little pissed at the fact that he didn't immediately listen to them and he doubted what they had to say. But he did ask the officer to bring up the law that he spoke of, because I would have thought the same thing. And the officer didn't do that. He did ask the officer to grab a supervisor, maybe to explain it further. He didn't do that. But when it came time for violence, everybody was game for that. So that's where I believe that was 100% wrong. I think that there are other ways to deal with shit other than breaking windows and stuff. But in this case, because it was a legal traffic stop, they'll be able to stand on that. and he might get a little bit of money for excessive force, but he's going to have to go to the hospital to get it. Just saying. You're not going to get it just because they saw you get punched in the face. You weren't bleeding and all that kind of stuff. And if they want to make it so that so that was justifiable, then anything that came along with that becomes fair game. And that's what I worry about. Because the second punch that was outside of the car, the guy's hand's already behind his back, as you can see here. So we'll see. We'll see on this one. But it's definitely a trending story right now because we see it a lot with officers beating up people. And I don't want you guys that, are new to this channel to come in here thinking that the only people that get beat up by police are black people. No, that happens all the time, especially in Florida. We do WTF Florida stories all the time, and 90% of them are not black people. It's the Caucasian group. That's Florida's biggest problem. But it's like, I feel you, Sebastian. I feel you. At the end of the day, we're all human. And we do need to have some empathy for other humans. So he can be wrong. The guy can be wrong in not understanding the law. But unless he made an aggressive move towards the officers, like he was trying to attack them, spit on them, punch them, kick them, stuff like that, it's 4 guys, man. And that dude was not that big. Like, we could easily detain this guy. Easily. We don't have to punch him. We can just hold on to him and put his little ass on the ground. Or pick him up, whatever we want to do. But we don't need to punch him in the face. So the officer that did the punching in the face, which was not the original officer. So this is the officer that just like walked up as backup. So he came up there with an attitude. It always be the officer that arrives late. That's like, got the attitude. I always notice that the first officer normally is the cool one. Then the backup shows up and they got a vendetta. They showing up because they got a call on the radio that fellow officer needs help. When they get there, they come out of the car with an attitude. So where one officer's talking, they ready to break windows and break noses. And that's what we just. The original officer that did the pullover thing ended up on the other side of the car talking to the guy. Even though he was being a dick about it. Actually, no, that was a totally different officer. So there was a secondary officer, so he was cool. So the second officer was cool. It was the third officer that was not cool. And that's how it is with officers, is if you put enough of them in the same place, you're going to eventually find one that's not cool. And the one that's not cool going to set it off every time. Every time. And if you respond to the one that's not cool, you got the rest of them to deal with. It's a trap. And a lot of times the one that's not cool be the smallest, weakest one. Because he wanted to set it off because he knows he's got his boys with him. That's some goofy shit. So nonetheless, this gentleman will probably get a couple dollars for this. And I'm going to say to this gentleman, do not let Ben Crump get a damn cent. Go holler at my boy Quanell X. Don't let Ben Crump or none of them grifter types. Nope, they don't get nothing. Go get Quanell and he'll help you out. He's in Houston. Quanell X is in Houston. Go holler at him. Is the one you want to use. Genuine. Really does care. So those that don't know who Quanell X is, I support what he does, and he does it for not just black people. He does it for victims. See what I'm saying? That's why I like Quanell X, because I've seen him show up with white victims, black victims, Hispanic victims, people who are victims of stuff, heinous stuff. He had this one kid that was like locked in his mom's house for 10 years, something crazy. So anyway, let me go back to the full screen. I'm going to close it out here because got some stuff to do today. And special shouts to a skewed Jew for jumping into the chat there a little bit late, but it's okay. We had a whole stream get knocked out earlier, so I'm not sure what that was about. So this was the secondary stream. Hopefully it did better in viewership. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. If anybody has subscribed that I didn't see, thank you for the subscriptions. Anybody who sent a super chat that I did not see for any reason because there was some glitching going on, I apologize for that. Encourage you to continue supporting the channel. So we wrap this thing up. Because at the end of the day, that last video, it pisses me off, but it's like we sit on two sides of the same bullshit all the time. You know, you got one group that really could care less about people. Then you got another group that's like, all right, let's consider the fact that we're all humans. We all live here. We all live on this planet. So at the end of the day, just in case we have to be judged on our decisions when we're down here, when we get to the end of our lives, let's make better decisions. If you believe anything in the Bible, you know, you have to be mindful of other human beings, you know? So I'm gonna leave it at that, sort of, but I just want y'all to keep in mind, we got a lot going on right now in the world. The bullshit is being shoveled at you at record pace. Record pace. And it's almost like it's so much bullshit, it's like a sensory overload. It's one of those things where sometimes you see so much that you can't see anything at all. That's how I feel right now. Between what's going on with the White House, what's going on with foreign issues, and I'm digging into an interesting story about mining and some environmental hazards that we've been exposed to that nobody's even talking about. It's going on all over the place. And I think we need to just be honest about this. The world is screwed. And there's a group of people that don't see other people that live here as other humans. They're in the way. They're basically just not opposition per se, obstacles. That's the word. So they look at people as obstacles. And if you look at people as an obstacle, then one thing that you're going to have to do with an obstacle is move it out the way or overcome it. And it seems like our obstacle is caring about other people. Because meanwhile, while we're talking about Joe Biden and whether or not he used an auto pen, overseas, they are unaliving people at aid stops trying to get food. Like, that's crazy to me. People are hungry, probably not getting the food fast enough, and the people who are giving out the food end up shooting the people who came to get it. That's really happening. Those are really humans. I've been doing a story on the media blackout overseas. And don't think that that was by accident. It was so we can't see. So they can tell us whatever they want to tell us over there, and a few things will leak out. They'll tell us it's fake news, but at the end of the day, it is news. It's real news, and there's real people out there going through some shit. And we are worried about whether or not Obama attempted to piss off the voter base after they already elected Trump the first time. Let's put that in perspective, okay? What president comes into office and the previous administration, who was of a different party, is like happy or doesn't somehow question the legitimacy? Like, you know, hey, y'all did something. They always do this. But the Obama problem that they brought up is basically just saying he knew something was fake and he pushed it anyway. Well, excuse me, folks. Isn't that what we did with weapons of mass destruction a couple years back? They knew that shit wasn't there. They didn't find nothing. What did they do, eat it? No, it wasn't there in the first place. But they had us send our damn troops, our money, our weapons, and some more shit overseas looking for some shit that didn't exist, that they knew didn't exist. And here we are. So for anybody that thinks for a second that we're going to see somebody get locked up for that, it's not going to happen. They're not going to lock up Barack Obama because at the end of the day, he never posted the story. Even if he told somebody to come up with it, he never sent the information to the Wall Street Journal or the New York Post. See what I'm saying? Or New York Times, I mean. He never did any of that. So if somebody else took what he said and they did that, that's their fault. And they're not going to go to jail either because they're going to say they did it under the guise of the president. So how about we say screw that story, because that's the age-old people trying to get over on each other and trying to bring up fake news with each other. This shit's been going on. So I'm telling you right now, I hate to disappoint anybody that wants Obama to get locked up. That's not happening. Trump didn't get locked up, and neither is Obama. Even if Trump wants Obama locked up, it's not happening, y'all. That is political theater. That's what it is. I've been telling y'all about the cinema. I told you I thought this movie sucks, and it should get a bad Rotten Tomatoes score because this is a shitty movie. It's predictable. The plot lines are thin. And honestly, I'm over it. I'm over it. I was over it when I didn't get a Doge check. That was when I was over it. The second they were promising money and it didn't show up, I said, okay, it's all bullshit. So let's just look at it that way. Either side, it's all bullshit. They make promises. We know this. They make promises. It doesn't happen. That's where we live. In America, where we live under not even an what do they call it? Authoritarian government. I think it's an elitist government because it's all about money. And it's not just capitalism. There's a lot of collateral damage that we don't talk about from some of the things that they do to make this money. We covered it a few weeks ago when we were talking about the AI factories and what it took to power them and how that the powering of those factories was messing up the communities that surrounded it. They don't care about the people that are getting harmed. They only care about getting more money, getting more power. They don't care about you individually. So all you can do is not be subject to their care, if that makes sense. You do not need to rely on a government that doesn't know nothing about you. The only thing they know about you is how much you make, what income bracket you fall into. That's it. That's all. And that's all you mean to them. That's all you mean to them. Special shouts, Donald J. Plump. I see you jumped in the chat here. We're getting ready to close it out, though. So I'm a little sad that, you know, one of my favorite Super Trolls is stopping in late because this is a fun episode. But I think we need to be mindful, y'all. The BS is coming. So I'm telling y'all right now, don't sit there waiting for Obama and them to get arrested. If we tell people, hey, we're over this story, let's move on to the shit that means something, maybe they'll stop it in the news cycle. But right now, that's all we're going to hear about. Then it's going to be some investigation. Then it's going to be some court case maybe, congressional hearings, a whole bunch of cinema and wasted time, just like they did in the first Donald Trump presidency. Had us wait 3 years for some shit that wasn't even going to happen. And then the dude got elected again. So what did y'all do the first time? Nothing. It was a waste of time, and it was political theater. And you wasted the TV time, you wasted research time, you wasted resources, and you wasted my time. And you know how I feel about people wasting my time. I don't like that shit. Disrespectful. So our mainstream media is about to be very disrespectful, guys. So make sure that you start getting the views and eyes on independent media like Purge of the BS, like Angry Man. There's a couple of them, like my man Freezy. Start putting eyes there. My girl Kelly, Corinne, definitely start putting the eyes where they need to be, because they're going to try to get y'all pulled into this whole we want blood from Obama or we want this. None of that shit's going to happen. What is going to happen is your taxes are going to change. Some people are going to lose some coverage, right? Those things are happening. So if we could focus on the real shit, then maybe we won't be so distracted by the bull. Let me give my shout outs. Get up out of here. All right. So like I said, my man Donald J. Plump did stop through. So I have to say what's up. And who else we got in here? Sebastian Pelega, Askew Jewett stopped by, Purple Groovy, I Am Z, Rush Diva. Rush Diva's working on a wrench too, by the way. Yeah, like the folks that are the moderators for this channel are people that are here all the time, that always add to good conversation. So to be honest with you, Rush Diva, you're on the way. You're on the way. Thank you for your support coming on in. Al Bond, that's my sergeant at arms right there. And who else we got? John the Third stopped in. And that's about it. That's about it. Of course, we know I Am Z, Purple Groovy. I think I said Purple Groovy, right? Anyway, y'all get the point. But we're going to be back on Thursday. I'm going to talk. I got a really interesting story I'm working on for Thursday. It's going to be a little bit more for the nerds, not so much for the trenders, okay? This is something that's been going on for some years regarding some trade issues and contamination issues going on right here in America, but extend to lands foreign as well. And I've been looking into this story, so I wanted y'all to share it with me. That's going to be on Thursday. So if you're here today, I want to thank you for stopping by. Make sure you hit that like button before you get out of here. And if you do not manage to make it back here on Thursday, then that, my friends, is the bullshit. And I'm out. Peace.